Servus. This is your Gartenstaudinger from Munich again, and today we're looking at a topic that causes quite a bit of chaos in gardens every March. Which woody plants you're actually allowed to prune right now, and which ones you'll completely ruin if you grab the shears. Because the moment the first spring sun appears, you hear a bird chirping somewhere, and suddenly people everywhere start reaching for the hedge trimmers, as if someone had fired the official garden pruning starting pistol. The motto seems to be, spring is here. Time to cut everything that doesn't run away fast enough. And that's exactly where two things happen every single year at the same time. First, plants get cut that are actually preparing their entire bloom display right now, and second, some people technically even make themselves liable to fines. No joke. Because starting March 1st, a legal pruning ban comes into effect in Germany for many shrubs and trees. And yet every year you still see people standing in their gardens like Edward Scissorhands after 3 espressos. So today we're going to calmly look at which woody plants you can actually prune in March, and which ones you'll completely ruin if you reach for the shears now. Make sure you stay until the very end, because I'll also share a few professional tips that will help you prune your shrubs like an experienced gardener, and not like someone who just discovered a pair of loppers for the first time. And if you enjoy honest gardening tips without all that fluffy garden folklore from the category, "My grandma always did it this way," then hit the subscribe button now. You know the drill. The legal situation. Why March suddenly becomes tricky. Before we talk about plants, we have to briefly talk about the law. Don't worry, this won't turn into a law lecture. In Germany, the Federal Nature Conservation Act applies, and it clearly states that from March 1st to September 30th, you're not allowed to drastically cut back hedges, shrubs, or many woody plants, cut them down to the stump, or remove them completely. The reason behind this is quite logical. Starting in March, the bird breeding season begins. Blackbirds, robins, sparrows, and many other species build their nests exactly where we hobby gardeners love to show up with hedge trimmers, in hedges, shrubs, and dense bushes. A radical cut can therefore, in the worst case, destroy entire nests. That's why the law only allows so-called maintenance or shaping cuts during this time. This means you're allowed to make small corrections, for example shortening a few individual shoots or removing dead branches. Pruning fruit trees as a maintenance measure is also still allowed. What's no longer allowed are drastic actions where a hedge suddenly gets a military-style buzz cut. And yes, violations can actually get expensive. Depending on the federal state, fines of several €1,000s are possible. So it's better to think for a moment before switching your garden into chainsaw mode. These woody plants you can prune in March. Now here comes the good news. There are definitely plants that are actually quite happy if you pick up the shears in March. The reason is botanically quite simple. Some shrubs bloom on what's called new wood. That means the flowers form on shoots that grow during the current year. So if you cut these plants back in March, you actually stimulate them to grow particularly strong new shoots. A classic example of this is roses. March is practically the VIP appointment for rose pruning. The plant is still in winter dormancy, but new growth is just about to start. And that exact moment is ideal. With bedding roses and hybrid tea roses, you leave a few strong shoots and shorten them to about 20 to 40 centimeters. The most important thing is to first remove everything that's dead, diseased, or growing inward. The cut itself should ideally be placed a few millimeters above an outward-facing bud, a bud from which a new shoot will later grow. This way, the rose grows outward nicely instead of inward like a green wool ball. And if you want to know how to prune roses properly after they bloom so they push out new growth again and produce another flush of flowers, make sure to also watch my video, Pruning Roses After Bloom, a step-by-step guide that actually works. In that video I show you exactly what to look for. Fruit trees can also still be pruned in March. Especially apples and pears benefit from this timing because the trees still have no leaves. You can clearly see the structure of the crown and immediately recognize which branches are getting in each other's way. The goal here isn't to drastically shrink the tree, but to thin it out. Crossing branches are removed as well as steep water shoots, so light and air can reach the crown again. For fig trees, the period from February to March is also ideal for removing frost-damaged or poorly positioned shoots. Berry bushes can also still be pruned well in early March, especially if you missed the autumn pruning. Old shoots of currants or gooseberries are cut close to the ground so that new strong shoots can grow back. With autumn raspberries, the old canes are cut back completely. And then there's another group of ornamental shrubs that practically wait for you to prune them in March. These include plants such as butterfly bush, bluebeard, hibiscus, or panicle hydrangeas. These plants also bloom on what's called new wood. That means the flowers form on shoots that grow during this year. A pruning in March ensures that they produce particularly strong new shoots in summer, and therefore also lots of flowers. However, hydrangeas in particular often cause a lot of confusion because there are different species that must be pruned completely differently. If you want to understand that topic better, make sure to watch my video, Pruning Hydrangeas Correctly, the 3 mistakes almost everyone makes. In that video I explain exactly which hydrangeas you can cut back heavily and which ones you should treat more carefully. These woody plants you should leave alone for now. On the other hand, there are plants where you really should keep your hands off the shears in March. And again, the reason lies in their flowering biology. Many classic spring bloomers already formed their flower buds last year. If you cut them now, you automatically remove the entire bloom. Typical candidates include forsythia, lilac, rhododendron, magnolia, and ornamental cherry. These shrubs should generally only be pruned after flowering, usually sometime in April or May. A simple rule of thumb helps a lot here. Spring bloomers are always pruned after flowering, never before. You should also be careful with hedges in March. A radical cutback is now legally prohibited. A light shaping cut may be allowed, but even then you should always first check whether a bird nest might be hidden somewhere. Because the new garden residents are rarely thrilled when someone suddenly marches through their living room with pruning shears. Professional tips to finish. To wrap things up, here are a few things that often make the real difference in the garden. Before you cut anything, it's always worth taking a quick look inside the shrub to see if there might already be a nest. Many birds actually begin nest building in March. You should also only work with really sharp tools. A good bypass pruner makes clean cuts that heal faster. Dull tools, on the other hand, crush the wood and open the door for diseases. And if possible, only prune at temperatures above 5 degrees Celsius. That allows plants to close their wounds much better. Let's summarize everything again briefly. Roses, fruit trees, berry bushes, and summer flowering ornamental shrubs can generally be pruned well in March. Spring bloomers such as forsythia, lilac, or magnolia should definitely be left alone right now. Otherwise, you're basically saying goodbye to the entire bloom. Now write in the comments, which shrub were you just about to prune, and are you now glad that you might wait a few more weeks? And if you want to know which mistakes many people make with their lawn in spring, make sure to also watch my 2 videos about it. Lawn care in March, the 3 things you should do now, and these 4 mistakes are ruining your lawn, and you're probably making them too. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who's running around the garden in March with hedge trimmers like Edward Scissorhands after 3 espressos. Thanks for watching your Gartenstaudinger from Munich. Take care, and see you in the next video.